Hello everybody and welcome to today's video where today I am revealing the thing that I am probably the most proud of throughout my career so far, and that is my 6th book, but also my first book, if that makes any sense, and it is the It Starts With You, a self-guided workbook to a better you journal. I am literally so excited about this. I say it's my 6th book because it technically is, but also it is my first book because this book is extra special because it has my actual name on it, where all my other books, they all say Honeybrook on it, but this one is my full government name, and I felt like this one was the right book to put my name on it because this is more of a side that I don't show to myself as often. If you couldn't already tell, it is inspired by the Behind HB podcast, which if you also don't know, I have a podcast, which we just started season 2 today. Right as you're watching this video, season 2 episode 1 is already up, and I wanted to create more of like an interactive portion for, a more interactive version of the podcast, because some people listening does nothing for them. Writing and actually seeing things does a lot more for somebody. That would be a visual learner, but there's also nothing wrong with being like an auditive learner, if that's what it's called. I always get it mixed up, but basically I'm here to kind of deep dive into what is in this book and just showing it off basically, because I love this book so much and I'm just so excited. I genuinely I don't think I've reached perfection status yet because I am an indie author. I do everything myself, so none of my books have been perfect so far. This one I feel like is the closest I've gotten to perfection status. Obviously there probably is some mistakes in here that I did not come across, but I love her. And without further ado, let's get into it. Also, I just got done filming episode 1 and I am using my microphone, which you can't see it, but I've upped my game a little bit and I now have a microphone stand, so just trust that it's there. But anyways, opening up the book, you have obviously the It Starts With You title page, a self-guided workbook, and moments from the Behind HB podcast. Copyright page, boring, nobody reads that. Table of contents, you have 15 chapters, which basically this book I feel like barely scratches the surface for like a better you journey, but all the things in here I hold really close to my heart, in a sense where it's either like personal or it's just things that I have done to where it's made me a better person. So a lot of the stuff in here is new, but also ideas from season 1. So chapter 1 is our introduction page, which basically is disclaiming what the book is and that I'm not qualified to be giving life advice in any sort. So all of this stuff has just helped me, and I feel like I disclaim that all the time because I'm not perfect and this is just what's worked for me. Anyways, chapter 2 is the perfect place to start in this whole, we're getting right into it, right? It's shadow work, and if you're familiar with shadow work, it's basically like a really I don't want to say intense, but like going back into your roots and really trying to, it's the first step of healing basically. It's like a self-guided therapy in a sense. So I thought what perfect place to start is with shadow work. So I have a bunch, I think I have like 5 shadow work prompts in here. All of these, which I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm especially proud of this book because a lot of things in here I came up with. Majority of things in here are things that I came up with, designed myself, put so much thought into. Obviously credit was given where it's due with like the quotes and some templates that I used. A lot of them though were free to use, like any free public domain, but also unknown creator, so credit was given where it was due. But a lot of things in here I came up with, especially with the prompts too, and some of the templates. So I thought I wanted to share that. So then on every, like, at the end of every chapter is some kind of like quote or like little saying or affirmation. We go into chapter 3, which is Changing Your Life Right Now, which is a spin-off of my very first episode of the Behind HB podcast, where it was starting your year over, or like basically like changing your life right now and just saying it's not too late, it's never too late. And I thought that was pretty, like, not funny, but I started off season 2 kind of back where we started, but instead of starting your year over, it's changing your life right now where you stand. And I feel like that resonates with more people. One of the activity I would say for chapter 3 is creating a vision board, because we all know I stand by that. I absolutely love how this turned out. My little example right here, and then the space for you to either cut out pictures or draw your own. I love how this turned out, one of my favorites. And then obviously the quote, this one is by Albert Einstein, which I think when I was going through a lot of like stickers that I had for like photos and stuff in the book release party, which vlog coming soon, I think I have this exact quote that I used right here on one of the stickers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so full circle. Chapter 4 is attracting miracles, which if I was to go back and change something, I probably would have put attracting miracles right after shadow work, because essentially, like, a lot of people use the reference, and I put it in here too, like, shadow work is basically like cleaning out your refrigerator. You're throwing away all the things that have gone bad, that don't serve you anymore, and you can't just leave your refrigerator empty. So in a sense, like, you have to bring in miracles, and that is like the prime time to attract miracles. So I really wish I would have kind of switched chapters 3 and 4 and put attracting miracles right after shadow work. But I mean, this journal is completely like self-guided. You don't have to follow the chapters at all. I tried to make the most sense. So if anything, if you get your hands on this journal, maybe do chapter 2 and then 4. I don't know. But basically, there's no reading attached to attracting miracles. It's all just like prompts that I came up with, and then a little saying in the back, basically that delusions equal visualization, and visualization makes your desires come to life. So chapter 5 is another spin-off of an episode from season 1, which is Love is the Key to Life. Basically, it is what it sounds. And I also wanted to add, a lot of my books, I just realized, I'm sorry if like the sound of the page turning is like coming across really strong on the microphone. Didn't even realize that sometimes, like, because I don't have headphones in, so I can't hear it. So I'm hoping it's not too intense. I apologize if you're getting some unexpected ASMR right now. But anyways, I decided to go with like full color in this book, because I feel like color in itself is just so inspiring. And I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be right to create a black and white book when obviously so much color should be involved with this. So you could see some of the sections are highlighted, and then obviously there are some, like, are there pictures in here? I should know, right? And then obviously prompts, questions, quote. I think you see where this is going. Chapter 6 is You Can Do It All, which was also an episode from season 1, and this one was a little bit, I don't want to say weird, but I mean, it definitely was like a targeted audience. I had a lot to say here. Again, prompts. No quote for this one, because then we go straight into chapter 7, which is You Can Do It All part 2, which is basically talking about, like, if you want to be a content creator, like finding your niche in a sense, or don't. Chapter 8 is Balancing Your Life, which I feel like is perfect, because I just told you that you could do it all, but I mean, you can't do it all without balance, right? Again, more reading. I try to incorporate some kind of reading in each chapter, because I feel like some people, like, I don't know, I guess everybody's just different. and I didn't want to make just like a complete journal without adding some kind of like personal touch to it. But speaking of personal touch, this may be my favorite page. I know I said the vision board one was one of my favorites, but this one is my favorite page out of the whole thing because I came up with this completely, and I'm so excited and happy on how this turned out because it literally looks so professional, like I downloaded it from somewhere. Now, I know I just talked very highly of it, and if it looks bad, forget everything I just said, but I'm proud of it. Basically, this is like just a little chart of what do I need right now, and this literally couldn't have turned out more perfect. Then you have questions, prompts, quote, and then here we are about halfway through at this point. This is kind of just like a bonus chapter in a sense. I didn't even count this, but I'm calling it Take a Breather, which if you could see, there is a coloring page attached, not just one, there is 4 coloring pages. This actually was inspired by the mental health coloring book that is all over TikTok right now. I thought this was just such a good thing to incorporate because, I mean, coloring is just one of those things where it's like you pop in your headphones, or not even that, like just listen to the sounds around you and just like simply clear your mind, and doing something so simple as coloring to where you don't have to really use any brain power for it. And so I thought, since you guys are working so hard on bettering yourself, I thought what better to incorporate a coloring page or 2 or 3 or 4, because also this is a journal and journals are supposed to be pretty inside. So I just thought I love this concept, and so I thought it'd be perfect to incorporate it. All these coloring pages are like free online to download. Anybody can have them. So just thought I would include that in there. So I'm so proud of you so far for making it halfway through. So there's like a little mushroom house. We have some flowers, another flowers that says good vibes only. I tried to make these fairly simple, but not too simple. But definitely not like adult level coloring book status, right? And then we just have another little flowers in like a wheelbarrow. Then we move on to chapter 9, which is boundaries, which is to me a pretty big chapter. I mean, it's not huge, but I feel like boundaries is something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. So I thought, I don't know if this is going to be an episode in season 2, but I definitely wanted to include it in here because part of like a bettering yourself journey is going back and deciding like, okay, what am I okay with, what am I not okay with? Because at the end of the day, I feel like if somebody like disrespects a boundary that you have, that could really be harmful to somebody depending on what it is. And so I just thought like, I mean, even like I feel like I struggle with boundaries too, so this was like something I needed to hear, and I feel like writing this made me like think more about it. And so I thought maybe somebody else could resonate to this. And then we just have a lot of prompts as well. And then yeah, so chapter 10 is pretty simple. It's just called I Am, and basically everything in chapter 10 is either like affirmations or like there's a quotes page of some of my all-time favorite quotes. And then something that I think I want to incorporate on my TikTok as well is 12 days of gratitude. I believe that we should be showing gratitude every single day, and it is debatable on how long it actually takes to build a habit. Some people say 21 days, some people say like 3 months. I thought, let's just start with 12 days, see how far it gets us. And just this little chart, I thought it was just so cute. Just daily reminders. So chapter 11, we are almost done here, is activating your inner goddess, which is also an episode from season 1. And then 12 is so freaking important, and I feel like this book would be incomplete without a journaling chapter in a sense. So basically there's just a little like blurb about, actually I think, yeah, there's not that much reading about journaling, just saying why it's important. And I incorporated 2 types of journaling. This one, which I found online and it was created by like an unknown source, basically is like just your emotions basically. And it's like if you're not super into journaling, there's always this option, which I have seen become pretty popular, but then there's just regular journaling, a daily, like a prompt a day, and there is quite a few to get you going. So chapter 13 is a concept that I feel like I didn't come up with it because it is so good. I mean, okay, negative self-talk, I know, but I'm like, I feel like I must have heard this somewhere and incorporated it, but I just think that this is so good. But it's called Acknowledging the Shadow, and it is completely different from shadow work in a sense where, like, basically it's like when you have like a rainy cloud come over you, it's like, well, let me just read to you what I wrote down. When a shadow is present, you may feel a lack of motivation, feeling like everything you're doing is going nowhere, being negative about anything positive, just stuff like that, like a rainy storm cloud over your head. So I created this little like journal template that basically is like, it should take about 5 minutes and a quick, easy 5-minute fix called Acknowledging the Shadow, right? Basically, like, you date it, you put what shadow is present, you can circle as many emotions you're feeling, like they're all negative, which is kind of intentional because that's why you're coming here to acknowledge the shadow. Circle as many as you need, and then like there's a line for other if it's not what's listed, and then what do I need to release. And there's not many lines here, so I mean, just to get you started, right? And then the most important line is setting the intention for moving forward. So basically, once you acknowledge the shadow, acknowledge that it's there, you have that time to reflect on it, but it is so important to set an intention for moving forward. And if the shadow was to come back, or when it does come back, what did I write here for? How do I get past this? And this, I put quite a few pages for this because I really love the concept. And if I was to ever write like another journal again, I feel like I would just do one strictly on acknowledging the shadow. And maybe that's something I'll talk about on my TikTok too. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a podcast episode as well. Chapter 14 is uncovering what you're good at / like uncovering hidden talents. I think this is also going to be an episode for season 2. And then there's just, prompts. Quote, finally, we have made it to the end. Chapter 15, which is just closing remarks. Basically, I am so proud of you for completing this journal and taking the very first steps into a better you, because really, like, there's just so many parts to trying to become like a better version of yourself, and really it could get overwhelming trying to focus on being perfect when really that's not it at all. It's trying to essentially become a better you. I mean, there's no better way to say that, and I feel like everything in here kind of just like hits different parts about that. One more thing I wanted to add though, during the podcast I'm always encouraging you guys to take notes, because I always like do like 5 easy things to remember or 5 steps. And so of course I couldn't put a section in here that wasn't podcast notes in the book that was inspired by the Behind HB podcast, right? So basically it's just like episode, like bunch of lines, like things I want to remember, things to fall back on. There's a couple pages of these, and yeah, that is the It Starts With You journal. Again, I am so freaking proud of this, and I'm just so excited to share this off, and I feel like I'm going to be talking about this so much because there's so much good information in here, and not only like all the ideas that I couldn't capture in here still are lingering, and if they don't make it to the Behind HB podcast, then they'll be coming out eventually, and I feel like I'm very excited for this new era, because in season 1, I feel like I kept it very much a secret, to where now in season 2, I'm very confident in a sense, and now I have this, and I'm very proud of this, and I'm just excited for the future and excited to move forward with this continuing project. And after all of that, if you would love to, if you want to check this out, it is going to be linked down below. It is being sold on Amazon right now, and I will have a direct link down below. And it would mean the world to me, even if you just clicked on the link, checked it out, and it would mean the universe to me if you decided to buy one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. It would also mean the world to me if you liked, subscribed, and comment. Go check out the Behind the HB podcast on my behind the scenes channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.